The reason why I was so excited to have Jessie Lee part of this event is because she's the person who I've seen have the most fanatical, energized tribe. You know, her tribe of people has grown exponentially since we first met. It was already huge the first time that I saw Jessie Lee when she came to Australia. I was like, who is this person who has so many fans here in Australia and is growing a business? When I hadn't really ever gone all in on anything as far as growing and supporting a team, I didn't really know what that meant. And I think being in touch with Jessie Lee and seeing that happening has helped me realize what it is. It wasn't really for me to do improve it. I love prove it. I got a bunch of it here in the cupboard, and I do talk about it. We do use it, but what I really wanted to go all in on was education of strength coaches and this kind of community, and that's actually coming to fruition more than ever over the last couple of weeks. And it's super exciting to sort of see people starting to connect with each other and say, hey, like, this thing is something you should really take a look at. And we've had 50 coaches, 50 experts from around the world join this event. I think maybe 30 something of them have presented already, but people who I really respect around the world have presented as experts at this event, and it just shows the power of connectivity that we have in this time. Over 300 people have signed on for this event. I think, maybe 120 or something new people who hadn't been connected with real movement previous to this event have jumped on. And, I can just see the potential for this to really make an impact on the way people do education, strength education. So that's my dream, and that's what I want to go all in on in terms of marketing, in terms of building a tribe. And I know that so many people who I work with would really love to have a passionate tribe, and they really want to create a following and help people who follow them take their lives to another level with something similar to me but different. And we all do it in different ways. We have our different little niches. Like, I know Jessie Lee loves, she's had an experience with powerlifting and loves training herself. So how there's all the little kind of niches within the strength world. How do we, I think the question that I'd love to hear you kind of answer is how to create that viral and tribal sort of following and really have the life that you want through creating the business that you want, and transferring that energy to the people that you connect with. Like, that's what you do so well. And I think people are going to understand why I wanted a network marketing expert to be part of what we do here over these 4 days. So thank you so much for making time for us. I know you're super busy and you have, crazy active days. I hope there's a bunch of people on here live and we get some questions live through this. I've got up at 2 a.m. for it, and Jessie's put some time aside for it. So, ask your questions, take your notes, and let's really make something out of this next hour or so.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Keegan. I'm really excited and I'm grateful you're in my life. Lucas scared me really badly about an hour ago. He made me think I was late, and I am in my mind. So I'm really grateful this all worked out the way it's supposed to. So I really appreciate this opportunity to pour into people, because it's like you just said, and I was chatting a little bit with Lucas about, I see so much potential specifically in your space, specifically in the strength and conditioning and wellness space. And so I'm going to make this presentation very customized to what's going on in your world and relevant for all of you. And I'll answer any questions you have for sure. And I look forward to this. And I want to start, first of all, by just kind of explaining a little bit about who I am. My name is Jessie Lee. You can call me #BossLee, or Jessie Lee is fine. And before I get into success stories and why I think part of the reason you should listen to me and whatever, I have to take you back, because I'm a big believer, and this is actually one of the first and probably biggest and strongest tips of everything I'm going to teach you. So you should start taking notes now. Is don't tell your glory without your story. And so something right off the bat, I'll tell all of you is I love how far some of you have come in this. Like I enjoy watching and looking at the crazy splits and how it's like you all look like Greek gods that walk planet Earth, and you like can walk on your hands and you can do these knees over toes squats, and your mobility and range of motion is like, doesn't even look human to the normal person. Like I love it. I'm living for it. But what about the normal people who are looking at you and it's like, it's really cool, but like, I can't even, I don't even know if I'm like going parallel to the floor when I'm squatting. That's really intimidating. Or a handstand, like walking on their hands. Like I don't even know if I could do a handstand against a wall. And it's not to say you need to like de-edify yourself or say that you can't do all these amazing things you can with your body. But I think sometimes if you can take people back to where you started and take people back to the beginning of your mobility or strength or training or whatever it is for you journey, you're going to get so much further. And it's going to make people feel more connected to you. So I mean, I do have a strength and wellness and health and whatever journey for sure. But like Keegan kind of alluded to at the beginning there in my intro, I still really enjoy training. And I like lifting heavy stuff. That's my jam. And with good form, of course. But I'm here to talk mostly about how to build a crazy tribe and how to build very large businesses. And so you have to know where I come from, which is I grew up in a really small country town. I grew up not having a lot in a family that just, it was a really big struggle. And my draw to business, it started really young, probably no joke, like 4 or 5 years old. I remember making a vegetable stand on the side of my street to sell them to get some extra money. And I always had that hustle about me. I always kind of liked that. I always liked seeing what would make people tick and what would get people into motion. And I also like the idea that you can control, hear me on this, you can control your life if you are good at sales. Like Keegan just said, 300 people signed up. I know how much this costs. That's a lot of money in a short period of time that boom, because of sales and because of influence, you were able to make. You're able to control things if you can get good at influence, if you can get good at sales, if you can get good at attraction, if you can get good at retaining people, if you have systems around these things, which you're going to see some of mine in a little bit here when I get really into this. And so I really always had that entrepreneurial spirit about me. However, when I was 22 years old, I had just graduated from college. I did your normal thing where I worked a normal job. I worked at a pathology lab. I was a research assistant. So I like just kind of the biomechanics of bodies in general and health and things of that nature. And I was consistently going more broke. I don't know if you can relate to that wherever in the world you're listening to this from, but in my life, I was consistently going more broke with every paycheck just because I needed to pay my car payment, and I needed to pay for fuel, and I needed to pay for rent, etc. So I then went back into really what I knew since I was really young, which is what I just said, which is that if you can sell things, you can control your life. And so that is really what started my true entrepreneurial journey. That was 9 years ago. And so anything I say to you today, I want you to understand that I'm a 9-year overnight success in the entrepreneur world. It's very parallel to the conversation of those of you that are very far in your fitness journey and wellness journey, and those of you who are maybe just beginning. Please don't compare your chapter 2 to somebody's chapter 40. Like I see the way some of these bodies are in motion and I'm like, whoa, we got a long way to go, sister. All right. And so I want to keep that in mind. But like Keegan said, I've been able to build a really tribal is probably the right word, a really tribal following, a very loyal following, a very, I don't know if aggressive is the right word, but these people will defend me until the end of the day. And I think so much of that is really important to note because, again, I want to make this relevant for the space I'm speaking to right now. Some of the things you do, people think are psychotic. Okay, like let's just be friends here for a minute and let's just speak like realness. I don't know if y'all are carnivore. I'm carnivore as well. It's just the way my body likes to be. And there's no vegan, no offense if anyone's vegan. There's no vegan who can convince me to eat leaves. It's just not for my personal body. It's not for my body type, my blood type, whatever. I don't feel well when I'm not eating meat. if I say that to normal people, they think I'm crazy. Because it's a little weird, or is this not normal for them, right? It causes cognitive dissonance. But so is so much other stuff that's going on in your world. You tell somebody to squat a different way and they freak out. You tell somebody to stretch a certain way and they're like, you're gonna pop an arm socket out. You tell somebody to pay attention to, hand-eye coordination. They're like, what does that have to do with anything? You're going to have haters. You're going to have people who tell you you're nuts. You're going to have people who slam you. And I don't know why, because this has nothing to do with what I was going to tell you, but I feel like that's the way my presentations work most of the time, is I speak based off of what I know in my heart I have to say. And that is that some of you need to wrap your minds around that if you take my advice, if you follow my advice on building your business through whatever I explain to you, there are going to be people who absolutely cannot stand you. And there are going to be people who, hear me on this, there are going to be people who build your business for you based and predicated upon the fact they think you're nuts. Let me give an example. One of the biggest surges in my business, in my personal branding and everything, happened when somebody was hating on me. They were calling me crazy. They were calling me a liar. They were saying that the money that they thought that I was making was incorrect. They said, there's no way. I must have taken a deal. I must have done all this special stuff. And then they started sharing my videos. And maybe some of you have already had something like this happen to you before. I know there's all varying different skill levels in here and success levels. But I had somebody who was very high profile start bashing me on the internet, telling people that I was nuts, etc. It was the biggest blessing. One of the biggest blessings I've ever had in my life. Because all of a sudden, I got free attention. And if you want to win in the business world is about attention. It's about what are they doing? It's about what is that person talking about? What is that person showing? It is about what is that person doing that's so different than everybody else? And so we're going to get through this together. I'm going to show you some stuff about how you can stand out. But I will tell you, when people start saying you're crazy, please do not shut down. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to double down. I would double down. I would double down on your handstand videos and your squat, whatever. I would double down on all the stuff that kind of gets people hot and bothered. Because for whatever reason, people get so riled up, and you will unintentionally find, for lack of a better word, I guess, new tribe members. Because when they share your stuff and they say negative stuff, what ends up happening is they go, well, hold on a minute. This Adrian guy seems to kind of know what he's talking about. So let me look at a few of these videos. Okay, hold on a second. What are they eating? Oh, but they're shredded. Hold on a minute. Hold on. No. Shut up. All right, I'm not listening to this. The dude knows what he's talking about. Does that make sense to everyone? Like, sometimes it's really hard for us because humans have egos, right? And I don't think ego's all necessarily bad, but it's so important to remember that when people are hating on you like that, it's not your opportunity to shut down. It's your opportunity, when you know what you know, to share what you know. So speaking of sharing what I know, I do have a presentation. I don't know how closely I'll follow it because, like I made obvious already, I kind of just do my thing, but let's rock and roll. So we're going to build some massive businesses. As Keegan talked about, I have a huge tribe. This was about 800 of them. I put on a little tiny event for them, and 800 people showed up. So that was cool. So the first thing I want you to pay attention to, and this is absolutely relevant in what you're doing in the health and wellness space, is culture. I want you all to start to decide what you want your culture to be like. What do you want people to think about when they think about you and your business? What do they want to feel when they think about you? Because people make shopping and spending and buying decisions based upon how they feel about something. So what is the culture you're creating? Is there one specific thing that you like to focus on, and can you go all in on that? For me, a lot of our culture is around love. A lot of our culture is around recognition. A lot of our culture is around acceptance. A lot of our culture is around come as you are. A lot of our culture is around just high vibe, high energy, positive, and making people know that they are seen. And so I love that little quote at the bottom, and I really want you to kind of think about this. Culture is happening whether you create it or if you let someone else create it for you. And so, like, as an example, how many of you have maybe worked at a gym before? I don't know. And they said they wanted some culture, but nobody put any kind of effort into it. And then the whole thing spiraled out of control? Or how many of you have hired somebody? I also own traditional businesses, by the way, so I can relate on a whole bunch of different sides here. How many of you have hired somebody and they were totally against your culture and you actually watched part of your business erode before your eyes because you didn't control the culture? I'm gonna guess it's a lot of us. We've probably had moments like that. So I want you all to focus on this. This is one of the most important parts of business, in my opinion, if you want to have a strong, sustainable business, is what is the culture you want people to have. You may notice there's a lot of like weird colors of hair in this photo. For a long time there, I had wild hair. I think my hair was blue when I met Keegan, if I'm not mistaken. I've had every color under the sun. I mean, it's crazy. But it was just part of this. I don't care what you look like. I don't care where you come from. I'm going to accept you no matter what your age, no matter any of it. I don't care. I'm here to love you. Okay, so building a business, we need to focus on who you are. Some of you really need to decide who it is you are and who you want to portray. And so I am a social media kind of girl. However, I build a lot of business in person as well. So who are you and what platforms do you want to use? So I am a huge fan of Facebook, Instagram, my podcast, which is just jessieleepodcast.com on all handles. It's in English, I guess, obviously. I love YouTube and I love TikTok. Okay, and I know it, and okay, hold on a minute here. I promised you I would make this relevant to this space. If you can do some of the things, now Keegan's my friend, so I know more about what Keegan's body can do than the rest of you, okay? And not in like a weird way, like in like I watch his Instagram kind of way, okay? So Keegan's body does weird things, okay? And he juggles well, he does all kinds of strange things, just like a lot of people who I'm sure are on here. If you are not putting these weird, it's not, I mean, weird's the right word though. I'm very weird, so I'm just gonna say weird. If you are not putting these weird things, these abnormal things, these things that the average human cannot do, if you are not putting them on TikTok, I just wanna be the person to tell you you are missing out on probably millions of dollars. And that's not an exaggeration. Because TikTok is based on what people want to watch on repeat. And if you are posting a video, I know there are a lot of men watching this right now. If you are a grown man, I see your Instagrams where you got no shirts on and you're doing the splits with your toes pointed. I seen it, Lucas. I seen it. Okay. If you are not putting that on a 10-second clip on TikTok, like just standing there and then going into the split and then just like, that's it. That's literally it. You are missing out on tons and tons and tons of eyes. I promise you. These things that are normal to you because every day you stretch. Every day you work on mobility. Every day your knees over toes like Ben. Every day you're doing whatever it is for you. It's not normal. It's not normal. Normal people right now are literally not working out because they don't have gyms in their barns, okay? Normal people are not eating correctly right now. They're concerned with the Corona 15, which is the 15 like pounds or kilos or whatever. I don't know. Some people are probably getting it very intense with this weight gain, okay? Most people aren't living the life you're living right now. I encourage you to get on TikTok because TikTok gives a ton of eyeballs to things that people consider divisive. Let me give you another example. I don't know who's carnivore on here. I don't know what you eat, whatever. My dogs are also carnivore. So I'm carnivore. My dogs are carnivore. We have a meaty household around here, all right? Like a lot of meat going on in here. It's like a big old meat fest. So I posted a video on my TikTok and it's just me feeding my dogs. I just talk about how I have 100% carnivore dogs. I show them the food, the meat they get. I show them the raw goat's milk for probiotics that my dogs get. That video has 400,000 views. Why? Because people are pissed off. Oh my God, dogs are not carnivores. Oh my God, you're gonna kill your dog. Oh my God. Okay, what did I say at the beginning of this? There's also a lot of people, if 400,000 people watched it and 50,000 people like it, and it's got 500 comments, that's like current, it keeps going nuts. I want you to think about it. 50,000 people liked it. Then they click on my Instagram. Then they follow me on YouTube because it's all linked in there. you can start creating a viral effect. But I'm telling you, a lot of you on here can do strange things with your body. And those of you who can't do strange things with your body, start documenting the normal things you do with your body that you're trying to be able to do strange with your body, and show people on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, your progression. Because people want to watch. One of my biggest explosions in social media was in 2013, I started doing bodybuilding competitions. Okay. And so I started posting my weekly check-ins with my coach, right? I would post some of my workout stuff. I would post people were calling me Tilapia Lee, okay? Because we've heard of a bodybuilding show, but it's a lot of white fish, okay? So I was posting my meals. I was posting, my workouts. And again, like I said, I was posting my journey, my journey to the bodybuilding stage. And people were obsessed with that journey. So pick the platforms you like and go all in. And then determine what you want to do with this. How big do you want this business to be? And why? What impact are you trying to make? And what do you want to focus on? Because I love Ben's handle, this knee over toes guy, because even if I just would read his profile and I'd be like, hey, he must just be the knees over toes guy. Okay, well, if I want to learn how to do that, I know who to go to. It's very clear. It's very obvious. It obviously has something to do with strength, right? It obviously has something to do with mobility. It obviously has, it's very clear to people. So determine where you want to go, and then determine what you want to speak more about. And then as you do this is just a little reminder for people who are bothered by haters again, because I feel like what you do creates haters sometimes. I don't care what your character is, and you shouldn't either. I take that back. You shouldn't care what your reputation is, right? I don't care what my reputation is, and you shouldn't either. You should worry about what your character is. Do you know what you're doing is good for people? Do you believe in what you're talking about? I would guess yes, or you wouldn't be on this seminar either. And so character versus reputation, know who you are and don't worry about it. And then, of course, we're going to talk about consistency, but this is we probably don't even need to get into consistency with this group, because I feel obviously, you would not have anything, you would not look the way y'all look, you would not perform the way y'all look, you would not have, you understand the concept of consistency, 1% better every single day. All right, so systems are what duplicate, because people don't, that. That's why you probably come up with all the systems you do. So we need to create systems for all this stuff. You can just look at it really fast. Attraction, speed, selling, culture building, recruiting new team members into what you're doing, or new customers, developing people more, coaching, blah, blah, blah. We're going to go through it all. So attraction. If your business is not where you want your business to be, it is simply because not enough people know who you are yet. Okay? And so I don't know how often people on here are going live, but I would assume it's not enough. And so as an example, I go live literally every day. Every single day, 9 a.m., I go live on Facebook and Instagram every day. Sometimes multiple lives. I think yesterday I went live 4 times on Facebook. I had things to say. Okay. Clearly I'm not at a loss for words. I think you can probably already tell that by now. But I love Facebook lives. I love them. I love Instagram lives. I go live on TikTok. You can go live on YouTube. You can go live everywhere. It's a great way for people to actually test your chops. Does it make sense? People love live video when they're trying to pick a coach, or they're trying to pick a mentor, or they're trying to pick somebody that they can actually believe in. Because sometimes people try to stump you. If you do a question and answer on a live, they'll be like, okay, Lucas, I got a question for you. They try to get a little sassy sometimes, a little sassy, right? And then when you take them to school, the people watching are like, I guess he knows what he's talking about. Maybe I'll follow, right? And then the more you do it, once you keep building and building and building that, people really start to trust you. Like I mentioned in my podcast is a massive attraction tool. Massive attraction tool. I upload a podcast every day. I guess back to consistency conversations, right? Every single day there's a new podcast. It has 800,000 downloads right now. It's ridiculous. It's in the world, it's the number 43 entrepreneurial podcast. I don't know how that happened. It's wild. It's wild, y'all. People will share your podcast in their stories, which then, of course, gets you more visibility on all your other platforms, because everything is interconnected, right? Everything on social is interconnected. So can you start telling some of your tips and tricks and stories, etc., on podcasts? Yes. You clearly are a group of people who know how to collaborate with each other. So could you collaborate with each other on podcasts? Yes. I know Keegan's done this. I actually feel like Keegan is part of the reason I do podcasts. We used to talk about podcasts all the time a few years ago. Like, I'm going to give Keegan another shout out. I feel like he's the reason I started podcasting. All right, let's go. Okay. The next thing is storytelling. Okay. Especially for my men on here. If there is anything you could probably get better at, it's probably storytelling. Because if you want to connect with people, you got to start getting a little more vulnerable. You need to tell more of those stories about maybe injuries you've had, or maybe when you've been attacked on the internet, or maybe when I don't know. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, parts of your story that you don't like to share are the ones where people actually connect with you. I suggest you start getting to know your audience. Have you been putting polls places? Have you done a poll on your Facebook? Have you done a poll in your Instagram story? Have you done a poll on your Instagram page saying, hey, what would you like more information about? Oh, you haven't? Okay, that's a problem. You need to do that today. Because you might assume that people want information on the actual mobility, but what if they want information on nutrition? And you know everything you need to know about both of those. Well, you're going to be able to attract more people if you start giving the people what they want. I started noticing people wanted a lot of information from me about social media. I started noticing people wanted a lot. My people are obsessed with vlogs. Just me showing my life. Can you show more of your life instead of just value all the time? Because here's the irony of what I even just said. What I even just said I need to correct. Because there is a tremendous amount of value in people getting to know you. Because people do business with people they know, people they like, and people they trust. And if they don't know you as anybody except for the guy on Instagram who, looks great with his shirt off, or the girl on Instagram who's got really, really nice legs, or whatever it is, that's not this. That's not this. And if people don't know you, then they can't like you. And if they can't like you, they can't trust you. If they can't trust you, they're not going to do business with you. Okay. 4-2-1 is a ratio I use. Okay. Yeah. So I know it says 4-2-1 on here, and some of you were like, what on earth is that? Okay. If there are 7 days of the week and you're posting on, say, Instagram 7 times a week, so 1 time a day, 4 of your posts a week. And this is going to, again, the men are going to be like, what? Trust me. Okay. It works really well. 4 of the posts a week should be about things that have nothing to do with anything except for things you are straight passionate about and not necessarily based around your business. Let me give you an example. So, like, how many of you have families? How many of you have hobbies outside of just strength training or mobility or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Every single one of you does. How many of you have things that you like to eat that aren't necessarily on your meal plan? Okay. How many of you like to travel, have lives outside of whatever? That's the 4. That's that trust building, is showing people that. The 2 is, I would suggest that 2 times a week, you do show the people things that are based around the business. You show people an exercise. You show people a hack. You show people a meal plan. You show whatever it is for you in your specific journey. And then 1 time a week, if you're posting that consistently, go after it. Like, get after it. Straight up, you can ask people for their money, essentially. Because if 6 days of the week you're providing people with value, whether that's humor, whether that's skills, whether that's whatever, they will convert once a week. You will see your conversions go up and up and up if it's only 1 sale a week. I think the reason partially that this idea right here came together so well is because you've been providing value for so long that you finally asked for a sale. You finally asked for a sale after providing value for so long. It's why hundreds and hundreds of people were so quick to say, okay, yeah, for sure. Let's do it. Right? Facebook groups, I'm a huge fan of. I would suggest joining a bunch of different groups around, probably just wellness in general or whatever your specific niche is. For me, like, I love carnivore groups because I don't have to explain myself to people. I love powerlifting groups. I love Costco groups. I love dog mom groups. I love all kinds of groups like that. That's where I find a lot of my people as well. I'm just talking to them normally. I go through my explore page, which is just that little magnifying glass on Instagram, constantly. I'm all over that sucker. I'm commenting all over them. And then anybody who follows me, and now not everyone will get it because I've been getting hundreds of new followers a day lately. It's getting a little crazy. But I message at least 15 people a day through voice message. And I will actually do it just to show you. So I'll go up under my followers. I'll click the first one. Oh, wait, I can't. That person's private. Oh, it's Adrian. Well, Adrian's on here. I'll do it anyway, just for you, Adrian. So I literally will hit the little voice message thing. Hey, Adrian, it's Jessie Lee. I just wanted to reach out and thank you for the follow on Instagram. And I wanted to say if there's anything, any content or anything like that that I can provide you with that you're looking for specifically, feel free to DM back. Either way, I hope you have an awesome Saturday. And again, I appreciate the follow. Have a great one. And I send that to at least 15 people a day. I'm connecting with people. You have to understand sometimes that if you want to build a brand, it's based upon how people feel about you. It's based upon how people look at you. It's based about how you make people feel. And if you have a conversation, you're like, I don't know what the example would be, but I'm just going to say it like this. It's like you're people's Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay? Like imagine if Arnold picked up Instagram and voice messaged you. Like you'd probably like actually lose your mind a little bit, right? Like, woo, that's kind of cool. Or like J-Lo, I don't know who you guys like. I'll use J-Lo as an example too. Like if J-Lo got a hold of Instagram and messaged you in a voice message, you'd probably freak out. So what are the pieces of personal touch that you can send to people that will attract people more to you? So I am a big fan of speed, okay? Not like speed training, okay? I don't like cardio. All right? But like I am a big fan of doing things quickly. People who have ever done business with me, whether it's huge coaches or, multi-millionaire mentors or whatever, everyone's always like, one speed and it's fast. I'm like, you damn right. Okay? And that's because I've never known anybody to be able to crawl to everything they want, right? Like we only have so much time on this earth. Let's go. So I suggest that you have things scripted. You should have your closes for how you want to close things in your business, or you want to close leads, or you want to find new customers, or you want to upsell people to a package, or you want to close more people on things like this virtual summit. You should have had scripts written. There would have been so many more people closed if there were scripts that were then given out to everybody. I'm just telling you, like, I know it's like a little bit like retroactive now, but I'm helping for the future. All right. I set phone shortcuts in my phone like crazy. So like if I go on, I have an iPhone, I'm an iPhone user. If I go under general and then I go under keyboard and then I go under text replacement, look at how many shortcuts I have in my telephone. Like what is that? Like probably 50 shortcuts. So if I'm in the middle of a conversation, I want to close somebody, I need to send somebody to a website, I want to direct them to an Instagram, a podcast, like a free resource link, my email to book me, whatever it is. I don't have to type anything except for a little like bang, 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 like little shorty shorts. If I type www, it populates the website. If I type it'll say, can I send you to checkout? If I type, you get the point. I don't have time to go peck, 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 peck. No. And neither do you. Neither do you if you want to build this thing big. Even if your business isn't where you want it to be right now, no one's business is where they want it to be right now, myself included. You've got to start finding little hacks in your life. What are the little hacks you can use? I know you guys have communities online. I suggest you use some kind of ad tag message system, which just means one community, add people to it, tag them in a quick resource video to answer basic questions, message them a short script. It's that easy. It's that easy. Keywords, I have them set up in my groups as well. So as an example, maybe you could have, I don't know, trying to think of something perfectly relevant for you guys. Like a keyword as an example for me would be, if somebody types the word expensive, I'm instantly alerted on my phone so that I know I need to get in there and answer a question. So maybe for you could write the word cost. So if somebody says, how much does coaching cost? Maybe it'll pop up. Maybe if somebody says the word mobility, it pops up for you. Maybe if somebody says the word gains, right? It pops up for you. I don't really know. Okay. I've got templates set up for everything, meaning I don't ever have to make photo collages. I don't ever have to remake, podcast collages or whatever. Everything I can repurpose. And then with speed and the word blitzes, at the top of hours, what I like to do is I like to blitz out messages. I like to make sure I'm sending out a certain amount of messages. And it's really a copy, paste, 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 change the name that I do for 15 straight minutes. I can usually reach about 80 people in 15 minutes. Again, I'm clearly not normal. I'm very fast. So maybe in your first time you do a blitz, you can reach 15 people. 15 is better than none. So again, let me explain it again a little slower. I will take one of those scripts. I will blitz message. I will set a timer in my phone for 15 minutes. And I literally quick dial basically for 15 straight minutes, the same thing to a ton of leads, to a ton of prospects, to a ton of followers, to a ton of whatever. And that can be gratitude. That can be, it can literally be anything. All right. So selling, I don't know if this will play. Will this play yeah, it will. Okay. So with selling in general, I'm a huge fan of letting people do trials of stuff. So can you let people do a quick trial of coaching with you? I think that's pretty relevant right now. People are sitting at their houses getting fat. Okay. They probably want to trial a little bit of coaching with you, right? Could you put together some kind of group coaching or something just to trial a workout with you? Could you do something like that? Can you be a little more vulnerable? Again, sharing your bad story before your good story. Can you add little pieces of value in there, right? Like if somebody buys something from you, can you do a little upsell? Can you throw something in there for free? Can you offer something for special for Corona time? Can you, they buy I don't know, I'm making something up, a how to squat properly package, and you throw in a free shoulder alignment package. I don't know, whatever the heck you're over there doing. Can you throw in little add-ons like that to add value that make you stand out? Because I'm constantly adding in little things of value to make myself stand out for people. I love using things like limited edition because I like being currently relevant. Okay, the health and wellness space right now is absolutely exploding. Everybody wants to be healthier because they're starting to realize that people's immune systems are jacked up. Mine's not. Okay? And this is not to say Corona's not real, because clearly it is. But I don't have anything to fear. I've been working on my immune health for the last 8 years or something like that. I don't feel any fear towards going to the grocery store. I've always washed my hands. Are people not washing their hands? What is going on, right? So, but this isn't most people. Most people are, wearing 9 masks out and goggles and all kinds of crazy stuff, gloves all over the place. They're on a walk with their family. They're walking their family dog all alone, and they've got masks on. It's crazy, right? I don't know how it is where you are, but here in Texas, it's a little wild. People all of a sudden care about their health. They all of a sudden care about eating healthy. They all of a sudden care about their microbiome. They all of a sudden care about, I guess it does hurt when I squat down and I stand back up again. I guess my back is jacked up. I guess I do have, you're right. I got weak wrists. My grip strength is jacked up. Oh gosh, I didn't realize it till I started carrying all those bottles of water and toilet paper into my house, and I dropped them on. People are starting to notice different things about their life that you all can help with. You need to be relevant then. You need to upload videos that talk to the little things that I just told you. Do you know immune system hacks? Do you know things that will help people's, like I said, microbiome? Do you know people who, okay, I got people biking. The company ProSups, is that popular where any of you are? The big company ProSups. I don't know if that's a big thing. Anyway, it's some 6 million. Anyway, the owner just biked by my house. He's my next door neighbor. But anyway, so I think he's taking more than just ProSups, if you know what I mean. That's not so natty. But anyway, anyhow, what could I say? But people want to know more about their health right now. So can you give them relevant things right now? Can you give them ideas of how to exercise indoors or outright outdoors? Can you give them little tricks and hacks like this that people care about right now in this moment? That's limited edition right now. That's limited edition. So, and that's really knowing your audience. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of time lapses. Those of you who can do the crazy things like the walking on the hands and the splits for days and the whatever else. People might not watch a 10-minute squatting video. you know, they'll watch a time lapse. They will, like my little time lapse I showed you. And then customer Zooms, could you get all your clients together and just give little hacks maybe once a week, like a 15-minute quick hack Zoom, you know, featuring coach so-and-so? Of course you can. Culture building's my jam. So Keegan referenced it at the beginning. He talked about a tribe and growing and supporting a team and how to create that huge following to live the life you want. I'm just going to tell you, just, I don't know, screenshot this or something. Have events for your people. I don't know how many of you who are on here were there, but I loved watching. I don't know where it was, but it looked like Keegan did some kind of event with maybe like 10 guys, 12 guys. I don't know. It was like a big bro fest out there in Australia, and they left their clothes at home or something, it looked like, and they were just like, I don't know, eating animals and lifting weights and pushing sleds. And I don't really know what happened at the bro fest because like I wasn't.
That's what we did. Yeah.
That's exactly right. I nailed it. Okay, that's what I thought. It looked like it. Like it looked like they should have filmed a reality show. It looked like Wild Men. I don't know. I really don't know what it looked awesome. And I will tell you, I guarantee that pulled people into that culture more than anything. Events do something to people. Being human and responding is everything. Respond to your DMs. My God, it's the simple things. Respond to your DMs. Comment back to your comments. You claim to want a bigger business, but you won't talk to people. Liar. Okay? Be human. People want to talk to you. Okay? Your favorite things, that's literally a Google Doc that you should make for your clients. You should find out what motivates them. You should find out what their love language is. You should find out how they are encouraged more. You know, I'll never forget, I had a gymnastics coach. I was a really good gymnast when I was little. And her name was Amanda. What a jerk. I'll never forget her. I was doing balance beam, and my love languages are physical touch and words of affirmation, probably for my entire life, right? And I don't know, maybe I was goofing off. I don't really remember, but I was a competitive gymnast. And I'm on the beam, and she snapped at me. Like instead of, I don't even remember, like it's traumatic, I still remember it. But she had no idea how to communicate with me. She didn't understand how important it was using appropriate words towards me. And that is the day I quit gymnastics. And I was really good at it. So finding out how people need to be communicated to, finding out what excites them, finding out if there's little ways you can encourage them along the way. Like, do they like silver or gold? What's their favorite, I don't know, cologne? What's their shirt size? So you can mail them a piece of swag that's branded for you guys. All kinds of little things like that are under my Google Doc. So I can customize stuff for people. Favorite colors, birthdays, anniversaries, spouses' names, kids' names, etc. So when I'm speaking to somebody, like looking at this photo, the man with the gray hair, his name's Guido. He's actually from Freiburg, Germany. But Guido's wife's name is Sonia. They own a hair salon in Freiburg in the Black Forest. I know all kinds of stuff about him and his family because I have a spreadsheet of information about Guido. Makes sense? Like finding out your people, crazy. I'm big on symbolism. I'm huge on, not in like a creepy, like Illuminati way. Okay. But like, I love our team, our big network marketing team is the Empire. I also own other businesses. Like I own a hair salon down the street. It's called Cherry. So everything's like red and cherry, whatever. But like going back to the network marketing side of this, our team's the Empire. We literally have gang signs. Like this is a crown. We literally throw up gang signs. Everything is that exact same logo. Like as an example, someone on the team yesterday mailed me this shirt. Like literally I own the rights to that logo. Nobody else can have it. We have branded everything. I send out handwritten birthday cards, handwritten thank you cards. I send out text messages to every single new client and customer. I send out appreciation texts if they order something else. If somebody orders another program of yours, how many of you are like, yes, and you never talk to them until it's time to like start working with them? Be quick to respond. All right. Here's the crown again, by the way. This is a shameless, I took everybody to the Hawaiian Islands. Well, I took 12 people to the Hawaiian Islands. That's just a shameless, like, I miss it. I love it. All right. So here's some more examples though. Branded pens. Can you do that? Of course. Can you brand Yeti blender bottles for your people? Of course. Y'all better be hydrated. You better have your athletes hydrated. You better stay hydrated. Get ideas like this that obviously make sense for your people. Pop sockets. We're already seeing like the crowns, and it works everywhere. It works in Italy. Australia's top left, by the way. That was an Australian tour. I have like blonde hair then though. Keegan, I didn't see you that time. Bummer. It works in Asia. Indonesia. It works in Germany. It works in Switzerland. That's where all those photos are. Because everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be appreciated. So like you can see the hats. We have our team stuff branded on the hats. Just 100% everything is just all about the team. This kind of stuff in general. How much time are you spending with your people? Again, can you take some time out of your normal coaching to say, hey, why don't we go get dinner together? Hey, why don't we look, there's more Australia photos. Gosh, that's me in like the Swiss Alps over there. I don't know. Could you do a book club? I've got book clubs with our team. I do TikToks with our team. This is really good. Like one of our biggest German leaders, because why not? It's culture building. And then I made the okay, you get the point. It's funny. It engages people. It makes people feel part of something. Some of you are so scared to make yourself look embarrassed that it's hurting your business. I know, like the reality is that I'm so right. Like you need to start showing people a different side of you. You need to show people exactly who you are. You need to start getting a little more vulnerable and opening up to people. So prospects in general, could you have people referred to you? Could you have them referred to you and do it on like a Zoom or a call, or just show people maybe on an opportunity call what you offer? Like how many of you have a presentation you actually can show somebody everything you offer? Oh, well, maybe you should. Maybe you should write that down. Maybe you should get a pen and paper this afternoon or evening or morning or wherever it is in the world you are and write down all the things you are skilled in so you can tell people. Like I already talked about scripts. I do a ton of three-way chats. Is there another coach you can pull in as well and have people coach people together? Right? Pre-recorded webinars for those of you who are super, super busy where you can then send it out to people. I send a webinar link to people constantly, right? Like if I'm too busy to do a one-on-one like I talked about, can you do that? I do tours around the world. I toured 62 straight days, December 1st, all the way through almost February. And then I was supposed to go back to Italy, then Corona hit. Like I'm constantly getting in front of people. And this one might seem weird, but Facebook Local is an app you should download and it's bomb. You're going to be able to find local people in your community. How many of you have crap in your house that is health and wellness based that you can probably sell and find a new prospect? The answer is every single one of you. Like how many of you have an extra jump rope that like literally you haven't touched in 10 years or whatever? Okay. I have one of those sew right things like for your psoas muscle, I accidentally ordered 2 and it was past my return period. So I couldn't return it. They wouldn't take it back. So I put it on Facebook Local and the guy who got it was like Mr. Shredded. Like he looked ridiculous. He came and picked it up. I'm like, oh my goodness, you're a good prospect. Sent him a friend request on Facebook. Same thing, I sold an extra bicycle I had because I just had this bike sitting in my garage forever. First of all, I got $350 for it. Second of all, this guy, again, health and wellness, he walked up here looking like he's dying without the gym. He's like whatever. Sorry, that's Facebook. Sorry, I just got a text message to remind me. This is Marketplace. I didn't even put this on here. But again, same thing, just getting people to connect with me. Now, Facebook Local is actually different. I just totally messed up and screwed you guys up. That's Facebook Marketplace. You should download that. But Facebook Local is an app I use to do meetups. Okay, now I know we can't do meetups right now because we're in Corona time. But how many of you have times when you're sitting at home or something like that and you're like, oh, I got nothing to do, right? Like, oh, everything's done. Okay, go download Facebook Local and go search by health and wellness events. There are probably a lot of people in your area you don't even know about that are looking for you. And you, of all people in this demographic, need to be taking yourself to those events and getting to know the people in your area that are looking for you as their coach. Because I'm telling you, there's probably thousands of them. I mean, personal development, y'all already know, but give your people homework assignments, give your people maybe some competitions and contests to do, give your people maybe some leadership training. Maybe you need to start coaching people into leaders so you can maybe stop having to do all the work. Maybe you need to start some kind of, book club or something like that. There are so many good strength books and stuff like that out there. I think it's super relevant for this. One of my favorite books I ever read is called 10-Minute Toughness. It's a mindset book, but I got the athlete version. And I really think that book has helped my fitness journey, like specifically my strength journey, more than anything. It taught me how to visualize my lifts before I ever even got under the bar. And I was obsessed with it. So maybe that's like a book you guys could do a book club with, but I think it will help your athletes and probably coaches yours anyway. Speaking of coaching, I do a ton of one-on-ones. They kind of have to be deserved though, but can you offer one-on-ones? Can you sell one-on-ones? Of course you can. I love using calendly.com. It's a free resource you can use to book these. You can then do coaching across the internet, right? Like how many of you can do virtual coaching right now? All of you. Okay. Frontline actually doesn't apply to you guys, so ignore that. But leaders in general, I love to do coaching with people that I'm trying to develop more into better leaders. This is anything. This is traditional business. This is a business like yours. This is network marketing. This is everything. And everybody has to come outcome driven to a coaching call. So make sure you have people fill out it'll be on Calendly, make them fill out the form that answers to them what they're looking for. I'm very big on personal touch. I'm big on VIP programs. I'm big on if you're going to mail something, put that sucker in some nice packaging. I'm a big fan of add-ons and extra gifts. Like I said, I'm a big fan of, maybe, a client chat, maybe a client chat for all of your coaching clients. There's so many different countries on here. I can't really recommend a text service for you, but do a text service, especially as this business starts to scale, because you don't want everybody to have your personal cell phone number, right? Like how many of you have all these people sliding in your WhatsApp and you're like, oh my gosh, these weirdos, why are they calling me on WhatsApp, right? So text services are great because you can send out as many texts as you want. They can text back. You can categorize people through a lot of these text services. You can text out customer and client specials. You can maybe text out new stuff that you're offering, maybe new programs or new certifications that you are currently qualified in to train on, etc. And I'm a big fan of gratitude. I feel like the more you give, the more you get. So I like to give. And then if you want to keep your people around, like, again, some of this I should have edited and it doesn't necessarily apply, but if you want to keep people around, appreciate them. People don't leave where they're loved. And it absolutely applies to what you're doing. It takes me back to that gymnastics story with my coach, Amanda, who sucked, right? If she would have just been a little more encouraging, if she would have just let me know that she actually cared, if she would have let me know I wasn't just like, some gymnast that she, was just going to be able to show off, I would have felt better about what I was doing. I would have wanted to show up more to practice. I wouldn't have mind my hands looked so gross when I was a gymnast, right? You already know, I'm sure some of you know your hands are like always covered in blech, it's gross. So find out what people's love languages are. It's not weird to have a customer or a client take a 5lovelanguages.com test. It's not. I already told you about finding out about people's favorite things. Can you run campaigns, not to lowest rank, but how can this apply for you? Can you run a campaign based off of maybe strength gains? Maybe it's percentage. Maybe it's actual kilos, whatever it is. Can you run some kind of campaign and maybe flexibility? Can you actually measure people's gains in whatever respective area? Of course you can. Of course you can. Can you collaborate more with other coaches? It's exactly what you're doing right now. Keep doing that stuff. It works. Can you retain more people through referrals? Yeah. Can you offer discounts to your most loyal customers or coaches or whatever for referring people? Yes. Yes. And then the tour thing, can you go tour around the world to where you have big pockets of people and let people touch you? After Corona. You know what I mean? Can you let people meet you and be like, you're freaking awesome. I've been following you for years. Oh my gosh. If you want people to continue coaching with you, there's got to be something special about you. So what is it that makes you stand out, and do more of that? And so this is what took me personally a little less than 2 years to build. At least this is the people who showed up to our event. And they had to come to me. I didn't go to them. So just to give you an idea I'm telling you, you absolutely, if you take some of these principles and apply them to your business, you too can have a huge tribe that is growing, and that gives you the life that you want, because my life is incredibly blessed. I am no longer needing $300 a month to pay rent. I'm super blessed to have now built 3 multi-million-dollar monthly businesses, and I am absolutely nowhere near done. So I'm super excited to answer any questions you have. I hope that was super useful for you guys, and you can see how that applies to your businesses as well. I really enjoyed doing this, so I'm an open book, and I can't see questions. So maybe if Keegan or somebody or Lucas or Adrian or somebody can see questions and wants to read them, I'd love to answer any questions you might have.
Yes. So there are a few people on the Zoom because, as you know, we're having technical difficulties with the workplace, and there's people in workplace as well. So let's see what pops up there in the questions realm. This was like kind of half, like I've been reaching out to Jessie Lee saying, hey, like, I feel like there's some real potential with this business that I have. Like, can I get some tips off you? So it was half that. And I think what's relevant to me is also relevant to anyone else who's listening back to this, because you all have the same opportunity that I have. My business is coaching coaches. Like, that's really what I'm focused on, and what my passion is. Like, I want to work with coaches. And then there's some of the people that I work with also coaches, and others are mostly focused on their own clients, you know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of 2 separate things there, but it's all the same stuff carries over, right? Like, it's almost exactly the same scenarios.
For sure. Yeah. And with coaching coaches, it just becomes a lot more, I think, of that leading with love and getting to really know them. Like, what makes the coach tick? What makes the coach want to show up more? What makes the coach want to put in the extra hours? What makes the coach, want to go the extra mile? Because, and that goes to that, that spreadsheet. Like, if I knew everything about you, Keegan, I could get so into your head and in your heart that you would just do anything. Like, and not in like a manipulative way, but in like a, holy crap, this person cares about me kind of way.
Yeah. And I think that's what, like, with all of this stuff, like, because you go hard with sales, you go hard with knowing, people who are connected to your tribe, but your intention is that they make more money, that they help more people, that they love themselves more. Like, if the intention is that, then there's nothing wrong with being great at marketing and like messaging people for 15 minutes, because you're trying to help those people, and you do get great results with people, right? So, like, I think that's a thing to get over, is like, because other people do it with sinister intentions and they don't have a real product and they don't really care, then we don't do it because we don't want to be like them. But we're never going to be like the people that don't care, because we do care. So
right. Well, it's exactly what you just said. Like, people sometimes, I think, are fearful of money because they think like, oh, it's going to make me a bad person. Money, it literally is a magnifier. It magnifies what you already are. So if you're a good person, you're going to be a more powerful good person. If you're a bad person, like, I should have said this at the beginning of the Zoom, so I could have said like, get out of here. No, like, it's interesting how many people are so worried about what people are going to think about them. And the great irony is that people don't have time to judge you because they're actually judging themselves. And that goes right into that conversation about what about these haters? What about these haters? Like, anybody who has these, like, I have never commented something nasty on anybody's thing. Now, whether that's partially because I'm a good person, or maybe it's because I literally don't have time to give a crap about these idiots. Like, I don't like the people who have the time to do that. Like, congrats that you have actually no life. I don't have time to watch 6 hours of videos of people that I don't like. I don't know where you are coming up with the time to do these things, haters. It literally makes no sense to me. So I don't respond to haters. Like, sometimes I might write, oh, okay, with a smiley face. Oh, okay. Like, I'll do that sometimes just because I think it really pisses them off, and then they share it more. But as long as you can wrap your mindset around the idea that haters are your elevators, like they literally, then you don't have to worry about, how do I respond to them? How do I turn that? You can't. It's not your responsibility to make people like you. It's your responsibility to find your tribe that does like you. Because there are millions of those out there. But if you're so focused on the 6 people, they're probably all named Karen, okay, who all don't, it's just such an aggressive name, Karen, all right? Like, all these Karens out there. Like, I just, like, good on ya. I literally don't have time to have an argument with you about how you think your body isn't supposed to do that, or you think that a fuel source like that is strange. Like, great. I literally don't have time to provide you with a list of resources because you could Google it. The website you're looking for, Karen, is GOOGLE. Go read your own medical studies. Go read your own medical journals. Like, take your own time. I don't have time, and neither do you. Like, we're not in the job of convincing people. Just keep doing you and living it out loud, truly. Like, the more you live out loud, the people start to go, well, I don't feel like I'm going to be able to change Lucas's position on the splits. So maybe I'll just stop maybe I'll stop commenting nasty, weird things. He probably gets weird comments. You probably get weird DMs, actually. You probably don't get weird comments, if I could guess. Okay. He's giggling. So like, I nailed it. I crushed it. I'm right. Where would you steer people who aren't strong salespeople? Probably to some personal development. Somebody asked for my top 3 books on sales. I have a free book list. It costs you literally nothing if you want to go look at it. It's just jessieleeward.com/book list. I have like 80 books listed on it. 10-Minute Toughness is one of them if you want to take the direct link to it. I couldn't figure out how to set up the affiliate Amazon program, so it's literally not even an affiliate link. So whatever, but just click through it. I'm gonna miss out on the 4 cents or something. It's okay, but but just follow that. There's tons of sales books. I think one of the books that changed a lot for me was The Ultimate Sales Machine. I think the author's Chet Holmes. And when you read books about sales, I encourage you to read it from the position of kind of how I did this training, which is read it from the position of the business you're in, right? And don't just read to read. I'm a big fan of when I read something or when I listen to something, I'm very fast to hit pause or close the book as soon as I get a takeaway. I think a lot of people get so caught up in the development of it, they never take action. It's like the people who are probably could be maybe amazing coaches in the health and wellness space, but like you look at them and physically you're like, I don't like what, but they know everything. Like, how many of you know people like this? Like, they know everything, but their body looks like a sack of potatoes. And you're like, bro, like, you are smarter than me. Why do you look like this? Like, don't be that person. Like, you can be the best of both worlds, in my opinion. Like, no offense, by the way, I can only see like very fit looking people right now. So I don't know, maybe there are some of those people on here, but I would challenge you to develop and take action, develop and take action, develop and take action, develop and take action. I mentioned Google Documents. What other tools do I use for systemization? Calendly, I'm a huge fan of. My entire schedule, I live and breathe by a Google Calendar. Like, this is my day today. These are just meetings that are in there. Everything is in here, including meals. I have to schedule my meals. Well, I mean, I know when they are, it's always the same time, but like, I like to have it in there so my day doesn't get away from me. I even schedule family meetings for my household because my family's my priority. I schedule like I mentioned, my lives. I schedule when I need to make sure I have an Instagram post up. I make sure I have in my calendar that the podcast every day gets uploaded. Huge fan of Google Calendar, huge fan. I used to use Evernote. I don't use it so much anymore, so I don't know that I could really be an honest recommendation for you guys. I use Zoom. Zoom's a great system because you can set the schedule of that. Again, linking it all back to my Google Calendar. Yeah, I don't know what other kinds of systems you might be looking for, but those are the ones that I'm a big fan of. Oh, and here's maybe not system, but get help. Like, that is unpopular opinion, I feel like, and so that's why I want to share it with you. Like, I'm not good at everything. I am so bad at organization. My house, if it were, I have a staff, like legit, straight up staff. My assistant has an assistant. I have somebody who runs the house, so I know what I have to order. I have 2 cleaning people because I do not know how to clean. Like, I mean, I've got a creative director. I hired my partner. Like, I am bad at things. My partner's like, you're literally the dancing monkey. You know everything, but then everybody else, people need to repurpose it for you. Like, get help where you're bad at stuff. It's okay to say, I suck at that. We all have stuff we suck at. That's why we get coaches to get better. And that's like, get a life coach. I don't know, get whatever you need, but don't think you need to be a one-man show. I was a one-man show one woman show, I guess, for way too long. And some of you are probably at that point where you need the help and you're not getting it. How can you possibly scale? Like, I've got multiple multi-million-dollar businesses going on right now. How am I supposed, you can't scale if it's all you. So thank you, Adrian. Could you clarify, did you say you're pushing a podcast every day? Yep. Have you a rule of thumb, advertising promotion time on your podcast, beginning and middle? I should probably get some promotions in there as well. I don't have any sponsors currently, even though it has 800,000 flipping downloads. I should probably start asking like Butcher Box to send me some freaking meat. But I eat so much meat, God. But anyway, but at the beginning I mentioned, please screenshot, share, tag a friend, subscribe, review, and then I do it at the end. And then I do a $50 giveaway once a week. So I do like my own self-promotion, I guess. And for those of you who podcast, something cool I do, I don't know who podcasts. I don't know if this is worthless information for you, but I feel like you're asking because maybe that's why you're asking. But I pick a word, and then every podcast I say a letter. And then whoever gets the word first, I mail a prize to. So maybe you could give them like a free online coaching session, whoever the first person is who gets the word. So the word that just ended is tranquility. Like it just ended. So it's fine. Somebody already won today. But so I'll tell you the word. But so in order to get it, they had to listen to TRANQUILITY 11 podcasts in a row as soon as they dropped. Because there's so many people listening, they're competing. I know. Oh, he loved that one. Look at Adrian's face. He's like, oh my God, I'm gonna pick the longest word in the alphabet. I can see it. I see that he's competitive. I could see it in his eyeballs. But that's when I do it. Yeah, I do it at the beginning and the end. And I usually throw the letter in somewhere in the middle. And also the fan of the week, I try to throw in the middle too, because they have 24 hours from when the podcast drops to collect their $50. Okay. How do I deal with fear and with your family doing so much work and family balance? Awesome question, Maria. So I feel like fear is one of the healthiest emotions because there's the two types of fear. There's the fear that kept us alive as Homo sapiens when saber-toothed tigers were chasing us and whatever else. And we weren't like, oh, hey, kitty, right? There's that fear. And the other one, like, could you imagine playing with a saber-toothed tiger? Like, come on, y'all, we die. So there's healthy fear. And then there's also just the fear that I think gives you adrenaline rushes and endorphin rushes. And I think that's really healthy. And so I kind of actually talk about this a lot. I want to shift the paradigm around fear because it's the exact same chemicals released in your body when you are excited and when you are scared. Like, do you know that? Like, that's a fact. Like, you get the same chemical cocktail. So you get to decide whether or not you're going to say, okay, I'm really nervous. No, I'm not nervous and scared. I'm excited. And just doing it anyway. Like, fear is a positive because it gives you the superpowers. It makes you it literally shoots like adrenaline through your body. That makes you stronger. That makes you better. That makes you more powerful. So I actually like to kind of shift that paradigm around fear a little bit. And then in general, it's like we all have fears and you need to decide what is real and what isn't. And I like to call this facts over feelings. Some of you need to determine what's actually a fact and what's just a feeling, right? Like some of you are not taking a leap of faith in your coaching business, or you're not stepping into your power in your coaching or your leadership or whatever because of something you probably failed at way in your past. Like, could you imagine right now, I used gymnastics as an example in here. So can you imagine if I was like, I'm just going to be a super unhealthy, whatever, because I failed at gymnastics when I was 11 years old. But some of you literally use that rationale in your mind all the time. You're like, I can't possibly run a successful business. I failed in the past. I can't be good at whatever because I'm bad at blah, blah, blah. That's crazy. Write down the actual facts of the things you've done in your life that are successful and allow yourself to step into your unique power. You're not supposed to be good at everything, like I said earlier. You're really not. And then with your family doing so much work, what is your work-family balance? I involve my family in everything. Like, too many of you are trying to make it two separate entities. I don't think work-life balance exists. I think you need to combine them. And I think if you look at everything's in a pie, right? Like you only have this much time. Time is limited. We all have 24 hours in a day. So if you divide your pie, I want you to divide where you have the most fulfillment. Everybody's pie gets to look different. If I'm not putting almost 80% into work, I am not a fulfilled person. That might be weird for other people. My pie might not look like yours, but I decided to have my partner leave his job so he could be part of this with me, so he can do some of the social media stuff for me, because I don't understand YouTube and I don't understand how to do graphic design. He does, right? So pulling that in together. And then those of you with kids who might be listening, like I can only use Keegan as an example here because he's the only one on here who I've followed now for years. But my favorite videos of his are when he's got the kids in it. Look at it. There's nodding on here. Like, I love watching his strong little babies. I don't care what any of those haters said when his daughter's in the garage with him and pulling on the chains and doing whatever else and pulling herself up the ropes and what, like, that to me, I don't care what anyone says, not trying to be divisive, but like, that is good parenting to me. He is involved with his daughter. He is showing his daughter health and wellness. He's showing her mobility from a very young age. He's involved. They're throwing little juggling ball things around. She's running around the house. The wife's cooking a healthy meal. You got the little baby boy being so freaking cute. Like, I love that. Maybe the family dynamic's not perfect over there. I don't know. I'm not Keegan's therapist, okay? But I will tell you, I love seeing the involvement there. So you need to maybe, Maria, I don't know you on a personal level, Maria, but I would just say, like, involve your family in it. And a lot of the time, the lack of balance is because we have not communicated enough. Like, have you actually told your partner, hey, here's what I'm doing with this. Hey, here's how big this business is going to be. Hey, here's my vision for this. Hey, here's why I work out 11 hours a day. Hey, here's why I spend so much time on the computer, the phone, on Instagram, on whatever. Here's what I'm actually doing. Because so much more often than not, it's actually a communication problem. You think your partner and your family's a bunch of mind readers, and they had no idea you wanted to scale this business to X amount of dollars or X amount of clients or X amount of countries around the world or X amount of whatever. They didn't know because you didn't tell them. Or maybe you told them once in like a past, I'm going to build a really big business. Great. What is that? Can we quantify it? You need to communicate with people. And like I said, involve your family. Have I had any experience with crowdfunding? The only thing I've ever done with crowdfunding is I am an investor. So I invest a lot in a lot of different things, things that I personally understand, and I can I have like some kind of background in or something I'm passionate about. Like, I invested in an IV bar for IV vitamin hydration. I'm sure most of you are probably like at least familiar with it, because I'm like addicted to it. Like, I love those freaking cocktails. I'm like, give it to me, give me the glutamine. Like, I'm like, stick it in my arm, because like people are constantly dehydrated, and especially athletes. Like, as soon as summer rolls around, y'all are out there we're sweating like pigs or something. Pigs don't sweat, do they? Whatever. We are disgusting, and we are dehydrated, and it makes our lifts bad. It makes our heads hurt. It makes us grouchy. And so just like as an example, but you said, do you have anything you would suggest doing outside of what you already have to start a business? I think, Aaron, I think personally, if you're building your brand very large, like your personal brand, letting people fall in love with you, you're going to have people who just naturally want to support you. And that's what I've personally experienced, is that people wanted to be natural supporters, even if they didn't know what they were buying from me, even if they didn't really know what they were getting from me. And so what are things that your cost is extremely low that can then, but then have huge ROI for you, right? What could you give away almost for free that doesn't cost you much time or money that you can get a huge return? Could you do, and of course, I don't know your following, Aaron, but do you have a following where you could maybe do a Zoom workout and you charge $20 instead of your normal in-person fee of probably hundreds of dollars or whatever it is? Could you charge $25 or something like that? Get a whole bunch of people on here, do it once a week, and continue to grow that to collect money? Because the value of that is way more than $25, then allowing you to then build the business? Probably. Like, so much of funding is creativity.
Aaron is... He's seen a couple of other guys building gyms on farms and combining like agriculture with gyms. And so he's on his family farm. They have a beautiful farm. I think I'm going to mess up the location. I'm so bad with the American States, but drop the location in there, Aaron. But he wants to build out that sort of farm gym concept. So I think he's thinking about how to, pull some money together for that. I feel like your answer is really, like, build the brand, get people in love with the idea and the concept, and people will want to help you. the guy who's done it best in Australia. He has an amazing community around it. They produce so much food, and they've got a big outside obstacle course over acres of land, and it's amazing what they're doing. Like, he really wants to help. I was going to say Ohio. Yes, he's in Ohio, and he wants to do something like that in Ohio. And I think it's an amazing concept. It's working for a couple of guys. There's another guy in France that's doing the same thing. So he's like feeling like, how do I get started? But there's so much you can do with no money, and just trying to build that tribe around it. I think, like, getting some other people who love the idea, who want to come and train with you.
For sure. And I would talk about it constantly. First of all, like, your vision, talk about your vision constantly. The other thing I would do is, I'm guessing the workouts are probably a little bit shifted, right? Like, you're probably using a little bit different equipment. You're probably being more creative. It's probably, can you film yourself doing some of those exercises, whether it's at, like, Ohio's got a lot of farms, brother. I'm in Texas. We got a lot too. But can you go to somebody's farm and, like, you use something as an example, even though you don't have the money for it? They have the equipment on their farm. Can you, hypothetically anyway, can you say, hey, Farmer John, can I film some workouts here? And again, barter.
He has the farm. He has the farm.
You have the farm. Okay. Go on the farm, film the workouts, upload the workouts, tag people like crazy, show people, all right, on this Friday's training, it's $25. We're going to go 10, 20, whatever you want to charge. We're going to go over blah, blah, blah. Cause this is run a whole campaign around it. The I got to come up with something. Hold on. I don't know.
The image we used for this intensive was like a bunch of us guys pulling a tractor with a rope, and that was literally at the farm gym in Australia. It's like it's just a cool image of, we can move something serious together, like that. That imagery is so powerful. So I use that marketing for this event, Aaron. Like, it's powerful stuff. When you got a whole bunch of guys pulling a tractor, like, that's not an everyday experience for city people,
I think just come up with a campaign name, like what you want to call it, and then never shut up about it. Never shut up about it. Just keep talking about it. Keep talking about it. Every time, like I mentioned, those scripts, every time you're selling somebody on a coaching thing or whatever, you're talking about the barn gym. I don't know what you want to call it. It was terrible. We'll come up with something. Whatever you're going to call it. And you're just constantly change your Instagram bio to future owner of the barn gym. I'm just going to keep calling it that until I come up with something better, and just keep it moving. Cool. Awesome. I don't see any other. Oh wait, here we go. How do you filter what works for you and what doesn't? If you start a new tactic and there's not a bite from the beginning, I don't think that's how you say it. I don't think there's ever a bite at the beginning. And I think that's just something we as humans have to wrap our minds around. We are in such an instant gratification world. We live and breathe by a cell phone that gives us everything we want right away. And that's just not how businesses are built, especially in, obviously I don't know how old you are, your demographic or anything like that. I see it especially with people I'm 31. So I see it with people who are younger than me constantly. It's like, they just want to go viral, and then they want to make millions of dollars right away. And I'm like, that's not how you build a brand, period. End of discussion. So for me, any experiment I run for at least 6 months. I will do anything for at least 6 months and see if it works. I feel like that gives you enough time to decide if you're getting the ROI on what you're doing or not. And if something starts getting immediate feedback, just do more of that. Like, when I was building my brand, I was just paying attention to what people wanted. And I involved people a lot in my brand. Like, my font was actually picked by the people. Like, I didn't pick the font for #BossLee. Now it's on my cars, like it's on the fenders of my cars, it's across the Range Rover, like it's all over the place, right? It's on the walls of my house, it's right behind me, it's everywhere. But I allowed people to choose that. So that's one way you can kind of speed up that 6-month process if you want to, but way too often people quit. It's that consistency conversation. Like, I don't know exactly what you like to do, but I would guess that the first time, I don't know. I like the split example. Like, if Lucas, the first time he probably decided he was going to be a man who does splits, I'm going to guess the split was probably more like I don't know, like this, like not very far, like not very good. And then it was like a little more and a little more and a little more and a little more. And then he learned more and then he tweaked this and then it got better and better and better. Next thing you know, he's pointing his toes. I saw it, right? Like
I actually really struggled with even knowing that I was that person until I came to Keegan, because I was a strength coach in so many areas. I feel like even talking to all of our new members, they come in and we know strength, we know conditioning, we know performance. And then we get like, I was doing that. It's like, yeah, I taught myself how to do splits, but I also know this, but it was really for me, like isolating that. And it's been game changing for me. Just like at the end of the day, I still know all those things, but people want to come to me for flexibility. I need to embrace that and I need to be that person. And I think I see a lot of Real Movement members are finding that, like even talking about Aaron, he was the same thing in the last 6 months. He was trying so many different things and he's been really embracing the firearm strength. And I know it's going to go so far for him, but yeah, I think that's one of the things as strength coaches, we study so many different areas because we love all of it. And it's kind of hard to figure out where you should find that focus too, right?
But I don't think it needs to necessarily, I mean, I would just say follow your passion anyway. With that, whatever that's bringing you the most joy, like you could be known. I mean, now obviously I haven't had time yet to thoroughly stalk. I will get there. But like, so all I know is splits so far, right? So I keep using this example, but what is actually bringing you joy? Because it's fine if people recognize you as the splits guy, but then maybe you are the power coach, but if that's what draws you in, then I would start building a brand around that, and maybe you start building a brand around like how it's all interconnected, or maybe you build a brand around like whatever it is. But that kind of goes back to, I said, maybe you guys come up with maybe each individual person needs to come up with some kind of presentation where they show people all their different offerings. And then maybe you can offer coaching specifically around flexibility and coaching specifically around mobility and coaching specifically around power and coaching specifically around strength gain and whatever else. Like you don't have to be just this. Like too many people, I think, like, I find that it's either one or the other. People try to get so narrow that a lot of people don't find them, or they go so wide, right? That it's like, well, what is your specialty? Right. But if you have 4 specialties or 2 specialties or 3 specialties, Lucas, that's not this. That's still this. And I think it probably makes you a better coach. I mean, I don't know personally, but from you, but I would guess the more well-rounded you are, the more you're able to help more people. Yeah,
and that's probably maybe even where that pulling is coming from too, being in Real Movement and everyone, connecting with, oh, you're squatting and juggling and doing handstands too. How did you do all those things together kind of thing, right? So, but yeah, it's definitely about finding that clarity. Like that's what it's been like for me is like, okay, that's great.
Yeah. Then what should people not in network marketing learn from network marketing? I thought it was a scam. We can start there. I was sure that this crap was a scam. I only started to make $300. Like that's all I wanted to do was pay the money to pay the rent. And then I was going to be out. And then I realized that I was staying around because it was a vehicle in which I got to personally develop and get paid. Because the more I became a better speaker, a better coach, a better mentor, better at sales, better at recruiting, better at organization, better at just the overarching everything it takes to run a business, I started realizing that was affecting my pay. The more I learned, the more I was making. It's allowed me, I am a network marketer for sure. It is my biggest liquid income. This is not meant to impress anybody because I think this is a really high level group of people. But I make $300,000 a month with my network marketing business, which then allows me to do all kinds of other stuff, own all kinds of other things, invest in all kinds of different stuff, a lot of money in Forex, a lot of like tons and tons and tons and tons and tons. It's crazy because I grew up in poverty, which is nuts. So I say all of that because I don't think it needs to be your number one thing. I think I put a lot of time and effort into the Empire, which is the brand I built within my company, but I don't ever define myself by that. And I think some people have this weird perception that if you're an MLM, that's all you're good at. And I think there's nothing further from the truth. I love doing stuff like I'm doing right now, where I know I'm not speaking to network marketers. I do conferences and stuff just for marketing or advertising, or I did a huge presentation in New York City for some of the top TV producers in the country. And it's because of the development I had through network marketing. So I like to use it as a vehicle to get a lot of liquid income. And it has completely changed my life in so many ways. So I just think overall people need to, I don't know that this group has it, but I think there's a lot of negative connotations around network marketing overall. And hopefully the last hour and a half kind of showed you there's so much more, I think, to it than just recruiting, selling.
There's a lot of thank yous dropping in there. I don't think people were necessarily expecting this conversation from, I mean, we do have a lot in common. Like, you are very passionate about the carnivore and training, and you're not that far away from our niche. If you hadn't have found network marketing, you might have ended up running gyms and coaching people and that sort of thing, and you would have done it very well, Maybe you have done that, have you? Or
Nope.
No. But there's so much here that is so relevant. I see so much crossover between the journey of working with Prove It and my experiences with that, and the experience that you're guiding people through with the journey of a trainer and the journey of someone who opens a gym in their local community. And I feel as though if like 10% of what you learn in network marketing you apply to a normal business, it's like you're supercharged and you're so far ahead of how the average business does its marketing, and is so scared of connecting with people. And network marketers go so much further to make things happen. If you just did that in a normal business, like even Michael Sears that in our business, do you remember him? Damien Casey's friend. I don't know, the guys know you anyway.
Yeah, Michael Sears.
Yeah. He's just started to build home gym kind of setups because he's a welder. He worked in the mines in welding, and he's just started to offer that just because there's no gym gear around in Australia. Like, everything's sold because everyone's setting up a home gym and we don't have enough supplies in Australia. So he started building gyms, and he's finally seeing that, like, if you just do what you do with a network marketing business with a normal product, like, it's actually not that hard to really build yourself a business. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like once you've done a network marketing business, if you can be successful in that, then you're going to open up the rest of your life. Like what you're saying with selling skills, it's such a valuable thing to throw yourself into for a period of time where you really commit to having conversations and getting over those fears. I guess I got over the one-to-one fear, and probably one of the biggest messages I'm hearing from you today is like the collective, the fear of, I got heavily criticized by my peers, and it was because of this network marketing product, and it really rocked me. And it took me a while to get over it. It caused this massive stress response in my body, and it stuck with me for months. And it's stupid because it really could have been the catalyst for a lot of, growth, and things were going really well at that time in terms of the business. First, I guess you've got to get over that individual rejection, and then at some stage you need to get over being rejected by a group of other people or being rejected by the mob, which is kind of what, like, I kind of had this mob lynching thing going on all over the place.
I remember.
I didn't deal with it very well. Yeah, you've been through it a number of times. I know.
Well, I watched you go through that. I remember that.
Yeah. But I'm glad for it now, because I have another level of clarity and certainty, and it still happens, but it's not the same. And there's so many people who are thankful for the work that I do, and I know there's so many people that are thankful for the work that you do. And for people who are listening to this, like, you're never going to get to that helping so many people and the gratitude if you can't go through some of that. So, I mean, I think it's systemic desensitization and having good people around you as well. Like, I love the way you framed it today of like, that's going to grow your business. But don't be afraid of that individual rejection. And then if at some stage there's a group of people that kind of push back against you, that's when you really know you're actually finally doing something. You're actually standing for something.
Yep. 100%. And then it goes back to just know what your character is. Don't worry so much about what your reputation is with people that you probably don't even like.
Yeah. Amazing. Cool. Andy's saying she's pumped. Crystal's saying, thank you very much. It's amazing. Aaron is with the farm gym, is saying thank you very much. Jura from Slovenia, he's in Canada at the moment, said thank you very much for your time.
Awesome. Well, everybody stay safe. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you reaching out. I know everyone's busy and you got other presenters, so I'll let y'all go. But my name is Jessie Lee. I appreciate every last one of you. And Keegan, thank you for thinking of me. You're the best. We must talk more.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
You too, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.